Alright, instead of just touching on, pointing them out, what ones were in here, I figured I'd go over exactly what mods had the biggest impact on the steel P-01 or P-01 in general, because I need to finish replacing the spacer I have for the lifter arm for the drop safety removal. So I have the grips off already, the slides disassembled, gunsmith block, ball peen hammer, basic set of punches, tech mat, small jar with a lid, keep my parts in, and I'm going to try to do this no cuts. So this is the reduced reach combat trigger with the over travel stops, which if you find the Omega style trigger pinching the finger at all, which I did, definitely worth it. Right, see that shiny silver thing? That's our spacer that we're going to take out here. Nylon punch. This gun has all floating pins in it, which if you're going to do modifications to your gun, I would highly, highly recommend. This gun tray you can get on Amazon, or this block. It's a little bigger than most, and it's got magnetic and non-magnetic trays. Kind of nice. We just knocked out the hammer plug pin, main plug, whatever they call it. This part's always my favorite. One. These springs are all reduced power. All goes into affecting your trigger. So then we are going to take, I don't have a knife on me, use the nylon punch, and you see that little tiny spring arm sticking right there in the groove. Reach in there, pry him out of his groove. Might have to go grab a knife. Oh, come on, it was just out. Once you have them just knocked out of the groove just a tiny bit, push on the safety lever. That gives us our extractor housing. If you look in here, I don't know if you guys can really see too well. On either side there's a little detent. The right side will be a lock with no spring. The left side is a detent plunger with a spring. They like to go boing off into nowhere. You lose one of those, you have major problems. Parts of your safety will fall off. It costs you lots of money, lots of wait time with no gun. Not good. This one actually had it happen. So we already put our own locks, because the locks are almost impossible to find or replace, in on the right side. And that's why I have a tactical sport safety instead of two matching thin shadow safeties. So you can put them, lube them up with some grease, so keep them in there nice and... We're just going to set that guy aside. Our sear cage. First we're going to find so we have two lifters, our factory lifter and our low lift lifter, and two springs. So one of them stuck in the jar here. Factory lifter, low lift lifter. And what I'm doing here is just polishing off his seams from when he was cast, making him nice and buttery smooth. I have one that runs right down the middle of these things. And I'll hit either side of them. Make sure it's nice and smooth. This just random sandpaper I had sitting over there. Alright, now for our lifter springs. Boing, 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 boing. These things like to go shooting off too. So if you buy in a new one, you might want to buy a couple. This guy is clearly much easier to press, so I'm going to put him in there. Boop. Oh, our little guy locked back in place. Motherfucker. Okay, so if you still don't have a camera, rather than stumble through the horrible phone, you just gotta deal with my bedroom slash shipping center. Work with what we got. Obviously, we reversed the steps that we did, put the gun back together. all the springs. This has a Pro short reset, reach reduction. I guess that's what I call it, kit. If I run the trigger at just under 3 and double action at just over 6. This stupid safety that I had to replace because of the accident we had is actually really, really useful. It's really convenient. That's a tactical sport. If you don't like the trigger, highly suggest the combat style of that trigger. Modifying the plate on the back so that you get mag release like that, combat mag release. Obviously, see, the steel P-01 didn't come with the P-01 knife size. Tritium ones that are branded with the CZ logo, CZUB stamped in the top of them. This has a shadow hammer, all floating pins. If you're going to be working on the gun, floating pins are really, really cool. Saves you a lot of time and hassle instead of roll pins. Actually really enjoy these grips, not just aesthetically. This doesn't have a barrel bushing yet. Haven't had any problems with the stock one, honestly. The lifter is for your drop safety. So on these guns, if it's a B, not a PB, anytime the hammer falls, unless the trigger is pulled for it to happen, the firing pin is blocked. It's a drop safety. No matter what, trigger is pulled, the little plungers and hit won't go down. Getting rid of that drastically affects your short reset. You saw us polishing a little bit. We did a lot of polishing inside the gun because in competitions I have to have all pieces of the factory safety, otherwise they won't let me use the gun. So I found out last weekend. So not just your brake, your felt brake, but your actual single action trigger reset will go bang. This is a right there reset. That's pretty good for having the lifter arm in there. I'm actually pretty proud of myself. That's the biggest thing in your trigger after the trigger itself. ez.CZ Custom will give you all your floating pins now. Like I said, the dual spring recoil guide rod setup for the compacts, so that it's really, really easy to do that. I think just 2 fingers I can rack it. So way, way easier than like a DPM kit, factory. Pretty much covers most of it. Then just put the trigger where you like it. This is a steel P-01, so it only has cocked and locked, no decocker option. So we kind of use our double action as our safety. Yeah. Just the over travel stops, and then removing the drop safety is going to give you the super short reset. We had to polish extra. It says adjustable sphere, short disconnector, everything. But I would probably leave all that in and just do the trigger, the recoil guide rod springs set up from Cajun, maybe a trigger return spring, and then start knocking off your major floating pins. This actually has a thinned out shadow hammer in it too, but in order to use that with the rest of the parts that make up this kit, you gotta have an adjustable sear. It's kind of a bit more complicated. If you're still not happy, get the extended firing pin, the reduced power spring for it, hammer strut spring. You should be pretty happy then. If you're trying to go further than that, you pretty much know what you're doing. Well, this probably isn't your first gun that you've done this to, obviously. Biggest ones, got the plate in there. Take him out, take off your grips, take him out. Just knock out the top pin, pull him out. take him to your grinder and grind off like a millimeter at the bottom of him. Stick him back in so that he doesn't press against the magazine, so that it just falls out when you press the release. The trigger, go to the old style. The recoil springs should be pretty good to go. And focus on sights.